Hello everyone, it's Seji and today I have a discussion video for you. I have been reviewing books online for about a year now, and there is one issue that I keep bumping into, and that is to read or not to read books by problematic authors. That's the question. I think this is a topic that is very complicated but also very interesting. I will be sharing a few of my opinions, but I'd also love to hear yours, so feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. I have a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to reading books by problematic authors, and I've talked about this a lot on Instagram. And hearing other people's opinions, I've learned that there aren't a lot of people who strictly say never read any book written by a problematic author. Surprisingly, there are also not a lot of people on the other side of the spectrum who say that you should always read a book regardless of its author. But before I dive deeper into this, I just quickly want to define for this video at least what I mean by a problematic author. I define problematic authors as writers who have done or said things that people tend to find disturbing. Examples include plagiarism, misogyny, racism, discrimination, harassment, and the list goes on. As a reviewer, I realize that me talking about and recommending books can influence other people's reading habits, and so I have kind of developed a sense of responsibility when it comes to picking which books I want to promote. I personally decide on a case-to-case basis. Besides my gut feeling, there are a few factors that I consider. Dead or alive. I don't want to support authors who fundamentally go against the moral values that I have. Here I'm talking about bigots, racists, misogynists, those type of people. I especially feel uncomfortable reading and reviewing their work when they're alive. I don't want them personally to enjoy the notoriety and monetary value that could possibly come from being promoted. And that kind of goes hand in hand with me wanting to rather support other authors. Strangely enough, I don't feel the same kind of discomfort when these type of authors are deceased, especially when they passed away a long time ago, but I will elaborate on that more later. An example, for instance, is H.P. Lovecraft. One of my favorite genres is horror, and Lovecraft has had such a huge influence on the genre, as well as many authors who I consider my favorites. I read The Color Out of Space a long time ago, and it wasn't until 2 years ago that I realized that Lovecraft was a massive racist. I mean, like, really freaking racist. And despite that, I didn't really feel bad or icky for having read that story. It isn't like he's alive and he doesn't have any descendants, so no one's really profiting from people reading his work. Magnitude. The magnitude of what an author has done matters to me as well. For instance, because of social media, we can connect with authors on a way more personal level than ever before. Especially Twitter contributes to that, seeing that it just basically logs people's thoughts for years and years. And as a result, we've seen a lot of people get cancelled, sometimes for reasons that are just... Also, by me saying this, I'm not trying to discredit the people who actually do deserve a cancellation for the horrible things that they have said. It just feels like lately you can get cancelled for almost anything on social media. And I do think that at times that is due to just the sheer lack of critical thinking on the internet. Yep, I said what I said. Historical context. I think historical context matters as well. If I were to refuse to read any book in history written by either a racist or misogynist, I don't think I would be able to read a huge chunk of Western literature. And that is without considering non-Western literature, just literature in general. I think it's quite hard upholding people from the past to values that we have in the present. And honestly, I don't know. One of my favorite books is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. But apparently people had suspected him of being interested in girls when he was an adult. And viewing that with the values of today's society, I think everyone would say that's freaking disgusting. Yeah, but apparently in the Victorian era that wasn't too weird. So I'm just like, ugh, gross. Yeah, again, I don't know. Guilty or accused? This is honestly the toughest one for me. I refuse to read work by people who have been found guilty of heinous crimes. You killed someone? That's a no bueno for me. It gets trickier though when a person has only been accused. I mean, in the sense that if a person gets falsely accused and people stop supporting them and then it turns out that they are not guilty, then an innocent person has been hurt. However, if they truly are guilty and people continue to support them, then people have been supporting someone terrible. This was one of the major points that I discussed on Instagram, and some people said that if you still choose to review and promote this author, that before your review starts, you should talk about the allegations, or at least make the viewer aware of those allegations. And I'm not too sure if that's a solution. I personally lean more to the side of when you're reviewing a book, it's best to only focus on the content. But I don't know. To sum this little discussion up, I don't think that there is one single perfect approach. It's tough, but I think the most important thing to do is consider every book on a case-to-case basis, and also just trust your gut feeling. If it doesn't feel right to read the book or review it, then don't. That's everything I have to say with regards to this topic. Please do let me know what you think. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.